Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We are here at the 2022 edition of the SEMA show in Las Vegas. Of course, walking around, and there's a lot of cars that have gone through the ringer when it comes to modifications. Well, guess what? Toyota is here in full force, and look what I have here. This is a pair, this bright red one and the black one behind me, a pair of 10-second Supras. But before we get into this 2023 Supra with extra go-go juice, let's talk about what's going on here. The iconic Supra, going through the generations. For a while, it kind of was an unknown factor. And then, of course, that fourth generation really bringing performance to the forefront. And then, of course, we can't forget the original Fast and Furious movie. That franchise launched that vehicle into movie car stardom, just like the DeLorean from Back to the Future. Now, with Toyota bringing back the Supra name, it kind of was a little bit of a rocking boat sensation. A lot of people were excited to see the Supra name back, but some of the true diehard fans were kind of bummed out that Toyota paired with BMW and that the car was being built by BMW in Austria. Now, the fascinating thing is that since its introduction at the Detroit Auto Show in 2019, more fans have come to appreciate the return of the Supra. And now here at SEMA, Toyota, along with a lot of other shops and builders, are able to show what kind of performance, because that's the thing, the 2JZ that, Paul Walker brought to existence for Dom Toretto, for Vin Diesel's character, that 10-second car that he had to pony up. Well, guess what? Toyota has brought two 10-second cars. So we're gonna try to track down Vin Diesel here and call him out and maybe do some grudge racing. But what I wanna do is I wanna show you, when the metal meets the road, what could be done with these Supras and the performance that they bring. So let's go ahead, let's dive into these 2023 Supras, these pair of 10-second Supras, and see, is it the ultimate sports car to mod? Let's go ahead and find out. We're gonna start off with the bright red one. You can't miss this. Absolutely stunning under the show lights. Now, of course, from the exterior, you're gonna see a lot of the same things from your stock Supra, and I think that's the important thing about this build. It's not about a crazy exterior build, it's about getting down to the nitty-gritty. You're living your life a quarter mile at a time and getting down there in 10 seconds or less. Up front, you're still gonna see that whole stock fascia. LED lighting, we are, of course, zonking the vents. I would think that with a 10-second Supra, these vents would need to be opened up, but through Toyota and the builders that took part in this, they were able to get it done without opening up any of those fake vents, which is a curiosity because I've always wondered, why did they put so many of the fake vents on the front of this vehicle? Coming across the nose, I know a lot of people were bummed out when this fifth generation came to be. They wanted more of that concept that was introduced quite a few years before the vehicle ever came into existence. But you could see a little bit of that concept car with the nose, obviously very slippery through the air, because that's another thing, is that this car is gonna have to do the business cutting through the air when you're going down that piece of tarmac. Remember, quarter mile, 1,320 feet. Now, one of the big things that pops out is gonna be this driver's side race stripe all the way down from front to back, and as you can see, the 10-second twins. I don't think a lot of people realize what it takes to get a car to go 10 seconds in the quarter mile, but one of the things that they made sure to change was the turbocharger. So stock, we have that 3-liter inline-6 turbocharged engine pumping out a little over 380 horsepower. Well, guess what? With some CSF intercoolers, a pure turbo, a Titan Motorsports downpipe, and 3.5-inch exhaust, we're now pumping out 620 horsepower, 590 pound-feet of torque. It's going through the ZF 8-speed automatic, and guess what? When we say 10 seconds, I know you're gonna say, well, Joe, with all those modifications that have been done, of course we wanna change up the intercooler. We wanna cool that air that's going through the heat exchanger. Larger intercooler than the stock one. The turbo's been reworked through. What happens is that at the end of the quarter mile, this thing does 10 10.9 seconds. So this is truly a 10-second car. And remember, yes, it's 10.9, but you know what? Whether you win by an inch or a mile, winning's winning. Now, coming around the bend, when it comes to getting that performance down the drag strip, a lot of people think it's simple. You just point the car straight and you step on the gas pedal. No. What we have to do is we have to make some adjustments. So you'll see that the Supra has some special suspension. Of course, we're gonna have these weld racing wheels. Love the aluminum finish, that satin black. You can see the nice bright red calipers. And then of course, if you're wondering, well, Joe, what is the size of this setup? You're looking at an 18-inch wheel up front. And that is gonna help with those Mickey Thompson drag radials, get the power to the ground. Obviously, Weld is a very big name when it comes to drag racing. And if you're wondering, well, what's the size of this? Up front, there's 17 by 8.5-inch wheels. I like the way they just kept the calipers simple. Remember, on a drag car, you don't have to go 12 piston calipers or anything like that. The stock braking setup is totally fine. But of course, they work through the suspension to get that perfect squat to launch you off the line. Now, as we come down the side, everything else is gonna be stock. Like I said, that slippery shape. The bad news is we still got to zonk the vents. We have those stock vents that are fake. We gotta zonk those. But you'll notice that NHRA sticker, and feast your eyes on those rear wheels and tires. Look at the freaking clearance between the top of the tire and the inside of the fender. What you're looking at out back is a 17 by 10. So up front we have 18 and a half. These are 17 by 10 rear wheels, 305s on the back. 305s, they beefed up the axles, they beefed up the drivetrain. I love the way that this car just looks like it does the business, because it does do the business. 10.9 seconds with those Mickey Thompson slicks, 305s out back. Remember, stock, what are they, like 275s? And they're definitely not sticky Mickey Thompson drag radials. That really is gonna help you get that launch. And remember, you wanna use that water box. When you're running a tire like this, you wanna use the water box to build that heat. After you get out of the water box, you wanna spin up these tires. That's gonna make them super sticky. Love the way, like I said, they rework the suspension, bring back the rear to allow it to squat. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, why do we have such a massive sidewall? This is a 45 series sidewall. Why do we have such a big sidewall? At the drag strip, you're maybe gonna run 15 pounds of air in these tires. And the reason why is because you want the tire to flex and you want it to grab the road and then launch you, just like a cruise missile right off the deck of a battleship. That's why we go with a fatter sidewall tire. On a road race car, we want to bring the sidewall down. We want a shorter sidewall because you don't want the car swaying all over the place and flexing on the sidewall. So this is a very important part of the puzzle when you're trying to get down the quarter mile. It's not just about extra horsepower, which this has plenty, 620 horsepower, but you're also gonna be able to work the suspension and the tires. Now, a fun little fact for you is that, remember, with the 2JZ, one of the things that makes it so popular is that you could build tons of power and they're pretty much bulletproof. There's a business right in my backyard called Induction Performance. They are world known for taking Supras, those 4th gen Supras, and easily making 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, 2,000 horsepower. So it's interesting that we're seeing more horsepower out of this vehicle. My curiosity, of course, is how much can we get out of it before it pops? 620, that's a pretty big step from the 380, so what is it, 382 horsepower? So pretty big step. My curiosity is how much can that engine block take? Because that is the stock engine block. It's that 3-liter straight 6 turbocharged engine. How much can it take? But definitely tires, wheels, and suspension, it's gonna take a lot. Now coming around the back, same story. We don't want a big 12-foot wing. We don't need the basket handle. That's gonna create a lot of drag. With this slippery shape, those sexy fenders, I love rubbing my hands all over the freaking fenders. They're just really, really gorgeous. That's gonna be that great sexy shape. Cut through the air like a hot knife through butter. You'll see the Titan Motorsports. Beautiful exhaust tips. Look at that nice titanium tip, slash cut with the Titan Motorsports name on it, 3.5 inch all the way back. Downpipe, the whole shabam. I would love to fire up this beast and let her rip with the sound. That to me would be mind-blowing. Now, as we're kind of wrapping it up here with these two 10-second Supras, if I didn't show you both of them, I think a lot of people would probably zonk me, because the whole point is there's two 10-second Supras. So as we walk over, this is the other one, identical. And the great news is they actually did the 10.9 second quarter mile in both of these vehicles. So it really shows their testament with this setup. And like I said, the black, let me know what you think. Do you like the red better? Do you like the black better? I love the way they kept the graphics simple. You got that same exact setup with the weld racing wheels, 17 by 10, those drag radials, everything looking really tough. But this is what you get to experience here at SEMA. And the sad news is, this isn't a public show. You have to be in the industry. You have to be in the media. Look at that freaking stripe, man. That thing is freaking killer. I would absolutely love to rip down the quarter mile with this thing. And I'm sure you would want to go on throttle with me, that's for sure. But let me know what you think. Has Toyota proved that the 5th gen Supra can do the business with these two cars? And is this the best sports car to take, price point wise, modify? And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what about the price? $10,000. Now, I know before you fall out of your seat, you're like, $10,000? Like my dad says, if you want to play, you got to pay. And with today's technology, ECU remapping, turbos, all that stuff costs money. But for 10 grand on top of a stock Supra, that's still not a ton of money. A lot of people spending 6 figures to get a 10.9 second car. Here it is for you, double dose. So let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raity's Rides family. Of course, we got to give it up to the muscle behind the lens. Lori working that camera like a champ. She wants to race me down the quarter mile. She's taking the black one. I'm taking the red one. Who you putting your money on? Lori's going to blow my doors off. But show her some love in that comment section. Thank you, Lori, for doing the smoking great work that you always produce. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.